A very warm welcome to all. Today, I, Reeya Khanna, an intern at LEXIS and Company, am here virtually to express my views on the topic Rights of HIV positive person in India. HIV keeps on spreading all throughout the world, shadowed by expanding difficulties to human rights as both national and worldwide levels. The infection keeps on being set apart by victimization, populist gathering, the individuals who live on the edges of society or who are thought to be in danger of contamination, thanks to practices, race, ethnicity, sexual introduction, or social attributes that are criticized in a specific culture. In the vast majority of the world, separation likewise imperils impartial conveyance of access to HIV related products for aversion and care, including drugs fundamental for HIV AIDS mind and the advancement of antibodies to react to the particular needs of all populations in both the North and South. As the number of individuals living with HIV keeps on developing in countries with various economies, social structures, and legitimate frameworks, HIV related to human rights issues are winding up more obvious as well as ending up progressively different. Now let us understand what is HIV and AIDS. According to the UNESCO guidelines, HIV stands for human immunodeficiency virus, which is a virus affecting the human immune system. It results in a deterioration of the immune system, which causes an individual to become more vulnerable to different types of infections. AIDS stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is an advanced stage of HIV defined by the demonstration of certain symptoms, infections, and cancers. An individual with HIV infection may not have developed any of the illnesses that constitute AIDS, and the terms should be kept distinct. Even though the term HIV/AIDS is widely used and accepted, recent UN AIDS guidelines are promoting the use of HIV where appropriate and AIDS were appropriate. HIV and AIDS are two different issues, and often the term HIV/AIDS, meaning HIV and or AIDS, is unnecessarily used, as often enough either HIV or AIDS is relevant. The term HIV and AIDS should be used only when both HIV and AIDS are relevant. Let us understand the relationship between HIV and the human rights. In the 1980s, the connection between HIV and human rights was just comprehended as it included individuals tainted with HIV and with AIDS and the segregation to which they were subjected. The human rights law helps states respond appropriately to the difficulties of HIV or AIDS plague by giving a structure on which they can detail laws and approaches that coordinate general well-being goals and human rights principles. Human rights give a premise to the apparatus for non-governmental associations and promotion gatherings to use to screen the execution of states in their arrangements and programs, and to make a move for review when general well-being strategies disregard the rights. Human rights likewise address the commitments of general well-being experts with obligations regarding the assurance and advancement of well-being at a populace level. For HIV contaminated individuals and individuals with AIDS, the worries included compulsory HIV testing, confinements on worldwide travel, boundaries to business and lodging, access to training, medical care, and additionally healthcare coverage, and the numerous issues raised by names revealing accomplice notice and privacy. These issues are grave, and just about 20 years into the pestilence, they have not been settled. The 1980s were critical in characterizing a portion of the association between HIV and human rights. Before the decade's over, the call for human rights and for empathy and solidarity with individuals living with HIV had been expressly exemplified in the principle WHO worldwide reaction to AIDS. Let's understand the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, and acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS Act 2017. The Ministry of Health had announced the implementation of the Human Immunodeficiency Virus and Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome Act through a Gazette notification issued. The legislation seeks to make sure equal rights to persons suffering from HIV and AIDS. The main point of the Act is first, the Act, which received presidential assent on April 20, 2017, prohibits discrimination against such person in accessing healthcare, getting jobs, renting accommodation, admission in educational institutions, whether private or public. Second, consistent with the provisions of Act, no HIV test, medical treatment, or research are going to be conducted on an individual without his consent, and nobody shall be compelled to disclose his HIV status for obtaining employment or services except together with his consent and if required by writ. Third, as per the Act, union and state governments shall take measures to: number one, prevent the spread of HIV or AIDS, provide antiretroviral therapy and infection management for persons with HIV or AIDS. Third, facilitate their access to welfare schemes, especially for women and children, among others. The government also will issue necessary guidelines with reference to protocols for HIV and AIDS related diagnostic facilities. And antiretroviral therapy and infection management also will be applicable to all or any persons. Fourth, the Act has also adopted test and treat policy, which means that if a person is tested HIV positive during testing, he will be entitled to free treatment by the state and central government. It also makes it mandatory for the state government to appoint an ombudsman to inquire into complaints related to the violation of the Act. Fifth, violation of the Act by publishing information about people living with HIV or advocating hatred against them would attract imprisonment ranging from 3 months to 2 years or a maximum fine of rupees 1 lakh or both. That's all for today. Let us understand more about HIV and AIDS in the next video. Thank you.